What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. If you've been here for a while, as always, I appreciate you watching. What we have here is a box, and like many of you probably went Black Friday shopping online and whatnot. So luckily today, I think it is the 3rd of December. So it's Sunday, and this was actually on my front porch. So I'm not really sure if post office delivered it or if UPS delivered it, but it was not out there yesterday. It was out there this morning, or this afternoon, excuse me. So let's open it up, see what we got. We have the Wi-Fi WF04 dosing pump, mobile dosing system, mobile dosing in your office and anywhere from CoralBox. So this dosing pump is about $179.99. It went on sale for $139.99, and I decided to give it a shot. I've read really good things about it. I've heard from time to time that they may be inaccurate, but instead of just go ahead and springing for the GHL doser, I went ahead and picked up this guy right here. I am dosing the Tropic Marin A, B, and C, 2 to 3 mLs every day, and I'm hand dosing that in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. I already have a dosing container, but wanted to get the dosing pump and get it set up so that I don't have to hand dose this stuff anymore. So inside the box, we have some tubing, which will be helpful. We have this vial here. I guess it's supposed to be used for calibration purposes. We have the power plug, which I'm not really a fan of this style of power plug, especially if you're using a controller of some sort, just because depending on how you have your plug situated, this could take up a lot of space. So I may just put an extension cord on there and make it work for me. We have 4 pump heads here. And then we also have check valves. So the one thing that I probably will change out are these check valves. I do have some different check valves, and there's a couple videos that I watched online. Apparently these have a diaphragm in them that have a tendency to get stuck. So I'm gonna look and see if I have the other ones. If not, I will probably just bypass these completely and use a different type of check valve. But then it comes with 2 screws. So that's the mounting hardware. And inside you can see that they got some styrofoam here with I guess there's a sticker that goes on somewhere. So pull this out of here without breaking anything. There's a mounting template, so that is very nice. I don't know, the history on this dosing pump. So what I believe it is, I think it's a Jabo dosing pump that's just a Wi-Fi, and that's what I wanted because I wanted to get this mounted as high as possible, and with the Jabo, the controllers on the top. And I know that you can do a mod to it and mount it this way, but it's still a bigger piece of equipment. So ultimately I just want to get this mounted into the cabinet with a small footprint and not have to take up a lot of room or pull it down to get to the top of the display. So I'm gonna actually pause the video and read the instructions and see if I can get this thing mounted today. So this is the first time I've ever used a dosing pump, which is why I wanted to pause the video and take a look at the instructions. But apparently the pump head installation is pretty straightforward. They just snap in, and to remove them, they have these locking, and they just pull right back out. So it's a pretty straightforward setup, which is always very nice whenever it's easy for the user to take care of themselves. So just like that, the pump heads are installed. I'm gonna have to figure out where I'm gonna mount this in my cabinet and see if I got the check valves, and maybe we can start dosing. So again, the CoralBox doser does come with some check valves, and you'd have to look up on YouTube. There's a video where there's a guy explaining the diaphragm, I guess, issue inside of these check valves, and he actually used some check valves that look exactly like these, and I actually had these stored away already, so I don't think I'm actually going to have enough, because I'm going to need 2 for each line, so I'm actually short 1. I may have 1 that I could spare somewhere, so I'll have to take a look at that. But you can see just size-wise that the size is different, so I will probably have to make do. May have to heat this cable up, or excuse me, this tubing up a little bit to get it to fit on this check valve. And it may not be the prettiest thing in the world, but I would rather have these check valves in place versus having any type of siphon going on. So this is what I'm going to use as my dosing container. Once again, I'm doing the balling method, which is parts A, B, and C. So I have the 3 chambers here. I got this off of eBay, and you know, I've not filled it up with any liquids or anything, no complaints. It says Aquarium Source Marine on the back of it. I know that most of you have probably seen these with a red or orange top or whatever. I just wanted blue, just blue, you know, matches the plumbing and whatnot. So it did come with its own tubing. If I don't break the lids on it. So it came with some blue tubing that I may opt to use. And I'm also going to drill a hole in one of the containers and add the optical sensor to one of them. And I know that this is not a complete fail-safe because I'm only going to have it in one container, but the objective with the balling method is you're dosing each part equally. So you know, if the this part gets low, I'll know about it. The only way to really truly monitor the amount of liquid in each container here, or to prevent it from actually running the dosing pump once it's plugged into the apex, is to put an optical sensor or a float switch in each container. But probably just going to opt to drill a hole in this area right here. Unfortunately, it's going to have to be big enough to get this plug through it, and throw the optical sensor in the first chamber. That way I know that whenever it's low, all 3 should be low. And I'm going to pay attention to it over time as well, so that it doesn't dose more than it should. So we'll just kind of have to see how that goes. So anytime you're drilling into anything, I suggest starting with a smaller drill bit first and working your way up. So we will start here and see how this goes. Pretty straightforward. Perfect. So I rinsed the container out, and you can see it's a pretty good hole. That stepping bit that I used at the end was probably the better option, and I went a little bit bigger just because I'm actually gonna have to feed the cable in reverse, which is not that big of a deal. So we got the Coral Box Wi-Fi dosing pump mounted. We got parts A, B, and C in the dosing containers. Priming the doser was quite new to me, I should say. Luckily, I have friends in the reefing community that I reached out to and helped. So basically this is the input for the doser on each of these, and there's a check valve there. Pumps 1 and 2, I didn't have a problem priming. Pumps 3 and 4, I had quite the issue priming, and basically what I had to do was take a syringe and force water into the input of pumps 3 and 4, and that solved my problem. So I still need to get the optical sensor lowered and configured on the apex. It's not even plugged in at the moment. I need to finalize my dosing schedule. This is the Tropic Marin A, B, and C balling method, and there is some crap at the bottom of this container, which I didn't clean out too well, so I'm not really worried about it. It's not a fast pump, so that stuff should stay settled right there. But the other thing that I need to do is I have the tubes sitting in the return chamber, and I need to get some type of holder or figure out the best solution on where to dose this stuff. And I may dose it right in this area right here where the air stone is. I'm not really sure, but I do need to finalize the programming on the doser. But it was a pretty straightforward setup, no problems on my end, and that'll give you a final look. So I need to start also testing at least alkalinity on a regular basis to make sure that the doser is doing what it should. So hopefully this is giving you some insight on the CoralBox Wi-Fi dosing pump, and stay tuned for more videos, and we'll see how the tank grows out with the various pieces of SPS that are now in the tank. So stay tuned. I appreciate you watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Comments, questions, concerns, leave them below. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you on the next one.